On another matter, this weekend saw the happy return of a tradition in many neighborhoods. Last night, my senatorial assignment was to be at the front door of my home in Springfield, Illinois, and pass out candy to the trick-or-treaters. And after a year off because of COVID, Halloween was back. We had at least 80, maybe 100 kids show up, and they were all having a great time, as we all remember in our own youth. What a difference vaccines can make. Slowly but surely, we are putting this pandemic behind us. And after a difficult year plus of remote learning, kids are going back to school across America. 3 days ago, we received some long-awaited news that will enable parents to breathe another sigh of relief and allow children to be safely vaccinated. The FDA authorized Pfizer vaccinations for kids between ages 5 and 11. While it's true that healthy children generally are at lower risk from this virus, they are not immune, and testing had to take place, and it has taken place. And the new lower dose COVID vaccine can protect our kids and grandkids, I might add. And I want to do everything I can to make sure that happens. I usually tell the story which dates me, but I know the reality of my impression on those who are watching. I've been around a few years, and I can remember in the 1950s when we were scared to death of polio, and along came Jonas Salk, God bless his memory, with a new vaccine, and we all lined up, rolled up our sleeves, and got a shot, and there wasn't a question asked. We saw the ravages of polio, the iron lungs and crippled children, and some who lost their lives. And we did what we should do. We followed our parents' guidance, got the vaccinations. We virtually eliminated polio in America as a result of it. We've got to do the same thing when it comes to COVID for children. The new COVID vaccine for young children is just the latest proof that President Biden's leadership and efforts are working. Not one Republican, I might add, not one, could see their way to vote for President Biden's American Rescue Plan. It was that same rescue plan which set up a program across America to administer vaccines. Where would we be today if we're still struggling to do that? I want to thank the Biden administration for that leadership. We're starting to see good results despite the Delta variant, and I think that we can see at least the possibility of putting this pandemic behind us. And I hope more people will get vaccinated so that that will happen sooner rather than later. Every week, I've noticed that some of our Republican colleagues, including their leader, come to this floor to propose undercutting common sense vaccine policies that exist to protect our nation. These senators, to my knowledge, have all been vaccinated. And yet, when it comes to the mistruths and distortions about vaccinations, they're strangely silent, and I think we know why. Apparently, they think pitting Americans against each other is good politics, but it may be good politics one day and bad public health for a long time. It's corrosive to our public spirit. America is strongest when we are united. We'll no doubt hear our Republican colleagues cheer on the small minority of police and firefighters in cities like New York and Chicago who continue to refuse to get vaccinated, despite mandates. Here is a number that we should keep in mind. Those of us who say, and I count myself as one, that we respect law enforcement and want them to be strong and safe. Last year, 5 times more law enforcement officers died of COVID than died of gun violence. Let me repeat that. Last year, 5 times more policemen died of COVID than died from gun violence. COVID is the #1 killer of law enforcement officers in America today. And so when we talk about being on the side of the police, and you want to save their lives, I sure do. I want them to be safe on the job, but I also want them to be vaccinated so that they don't succumb to the illnesses that follow when they're not. If you care about police safety, if you really care about police safety, put this pandemic behind us once and for all and get vaccinated. And at least speak up when people decide on Fox TV and others to peddle this anti-vax quackery that we see too often.